You're probably looking at this slide thinking, what even is this? I already took intro psych. I don't need any more brain stuff. Well, you do. Everybody does. And the reason why is that you're a target. A couple years ago, I was in Squires drinking a coffee, and there's this guy at the table behind me trying to sell a college student into a multi-level marketing pyramid scheme. Just last week, I was in a student lounge, and a couple seats down from me, a woman's trying to sell a college student her religion. College students like you are targets of unscrupulous business and religious people because you're smart and you're driven and because you're confident. But you think, because I'm smart and confident, I'm not going to be duped by some con man. I have free will. I always make my own decisions. But influence is everywhere. And a lot of what we do is based on the influence of others. Much of the time the influence is benign, helpful. Our teachers, counselors, and parents, they try to influence us for our own good. Undue influence is a term that's come into use the last decade or so because the previously used terms had become misunderstood and misused. Terms like brainwashing and mind control, they've become sci-fi words that trivialize what happens in the real world by portraying psychological influence in impossible and unrealistic ways. This project is going to identify the psychological techniques used by unethical manipulators that were originally discovered by Dr. Robert J. Lifton's research when he studied American prisoners of war that were recovered after the Korean conflict. Many of them, it seemed, had changed their personalities. They were supporting the people who captured them, and Lifton wanted to figure out how that happened. He wrote this book as a result of his research. Lifton's still alive. He's 90 years old, so I assume he's retired and just chilling. But his research into how people can be manipulated and how people can have their personalities changed and basically controlled, that research has been carried on till today. And one of today's experts is named Steven Hassan, who, while he was a college student like you, he was recruited into a religious cult. And it took over 7 years and a lucky car accident to help him get free from it. And when he did, he went back to school, he studied people like Lifton, and he wrote this memoir and self-help book, Combating Cult Mind Control. In this project, I'll tell a little bit more of his story, as well as the story of others, get into the psychology that's used by groups that target college students as prospects to manipulate as new recruits, and provide some tips for you that you can use not only to protect yourselves, but to see warning signs in friends and loved ones who are possibly being influenced inappropriately, along with some advice for how you can deal with it. Hassan's latest book, Freedom of Mind, as well as his website of that same name, freedomofmind.com, is going to be a source for a good deal of this content. So, don't be this guy. Don't let the people you care about become this guy. Follow my project on Undue Influence and be informed, be safe, and keep your mind free.